Hey, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Curtis, and I am a guide with Trek Travel. Tonight is going to be all about cycling vacations of a lifetime. And I can tell you, as someone who's been guiding, it takes a team to have a cycling vacation of a lifetime, but also to tell you about one. So joining me this evening is Hershey. He's a veteran guide with Trek Travel. Amber, she is our awesome boss from outside sales. And then Sean is joining us from Trek Bicycle Vegas West. We are excited to have all of you folks joining us virtually and those who made it into the store this evening. And I talked to Sean earlier, and I was very glad to hear that the atmospheric river hitting California is apparently not hitting Vegas. So that's a good thing. I know all of you joining us virtually have become experts on Zoom in the last couple of years, but here's a few tips for those of you. Remember your menu bar. Here's where you have the mute button and the video toggle button. In addition, there's a chat box feature, and so there's where you're going to want to answer any quiz questions. We'll have a couple quizzes this evening, and so you can throw your answers in there. You just need the correct letter. And also, while we're going through the evening, it's not bad to just throw some questions throughout the evening if you have any. Just kind of be like something, and then we'll hit them at the end. So if you're thinking of something, throw a little question in there, and then we'll scroll through our at the end when our Q&A is, and then we'll answer those questions. If you want, there's closed captioning, so you can just toggle that on and it'll do closed captioning. I tell you, I watch a lot of TV with closed captioning these days. But at this point, can I ask everybody to please turn off their mic and their video so we can save some bandwidth? Okay, at Trek Travel, we usually begin each day with what we call a route talk. So you have an idea of where you're going to be going, what you're going to see that day, what to expect. So here's your route talk for tonight. We're going to start our journey by answering the question, who is Trek Travel? Then move on to why you should travel with us, kind of what sets us apart from other companies. And then next, we're going to climb up to tonight's trip spotlights, which are Switzerland and Portugal. And then we will quickly yet safely descend to briefly touch on how to book a trip and then answer some questions during the Q&A session. Don't worry, for those of you who traveled with us before, there's no safety talk tonight. That's usually no one likes the safety talk, but safety is fun. Just ask Sean. So let's begin with who is Trek Travel? We are a group of people who believe the world is best seen from the seat of a bicycle. And because you're joining us this evening, I'm assuming that you do as well. Trek Travel runs cycling vacations all over the world. And we're always scouting out new locations to take you to. I can tell you, in the a little over 5 years I've been with Trek Travel, we've added so many trips. It's been amazing. And we've been doing it for over 20 years. And over all of those years, we've been winning awards. We've been voted one of the top vacation companies by our guests and partners over the years by various organizations. Most recently, we are voted a top 10 tour operator by Travel and Leisure for 2023. Number 5, in fact, which is our highest finish ever. Now, this is a repeat from 2022, 2021, 2018, and 2016. We are so proud of all of these awards, and we continue to work hard to deserve more. Now, what do we do that has us earning all these awards, you ask? At Trek Travel, we like to call it our secret sauce. And while I know everyone thinks secret sauce is usually Thousand Island, because that's what it used to historically be, that's not what it is when it comes to Trek Travel. It is what sets us apart from other tour operators. And rather than telling you about it, I wanted to show you a video narrated by our president, Tanya Burke, called Why Trek Travel.
Travel is transformational. It allows you to have a different perspective, get to know a culture, your surroundings, and the landscape around you. But a cycling vacation really is different. You can see things up close and personal. You can smell the flowers. You work up an appetite riding your bike, and so it makes the dinners taste that much better. And for me, it is the absolute best way to see the world. We meticulously plan every single one of our trips, from hand-picked perfect accommodations to the region's best riding and local and cultural experiences that really immerse you in the place that you're traveling. And these are all the elements of an awesome trip. Our guides provide exceptional hospitality. They're really focused on making sure we have a seamless and effortless experience for our guests, and they provide wow moments that you would never expect. If you're avid and want to go do some epic climbing, you can do that. If you want more of a leisurely ride, we have trips for you as well. We also offer e-bikes, and they have been an absolute game changer. People can go further than they ever imagined. So we have different rider levels, different trip styles, price points, and destinations all throughout the world. We go to North America, Europe, South America, Asia, and pretty much anywhere you can dream up, we can take you on a vacation there. The most important thing, and I think everyone at Trek Travel shares this, is taking care of people. And that's why we do what we do. It's ingrained in our training, and it's ingrained in our commitment to providing exceptional hospitality. And our hope is that all of these elements come together and provide an experience of a lifetime.
Man, I love that video. It makes me want to get out and ride my bike. And even though I'm in Minnesota, it was 50 degrees here today. So if I wasn't stuck in my basement office, I could have got out and ridden outside for a little bit. And speaking of riding, we know that you're tonight because you love to ride as well. And bikes are one of the many ways that Trek Travel sets itself apart from other tour operators. Our standard bike for most of our trips is the Domani SL7, which is a full carbon fiber bike with electronic shifting, disc brakes, and carbon wheels. This bike is the bike that you want to ride. And after you've been on a trip, if you don't own one at home, you're probably going to stop in your local truck shop and buy one. It is just absolutely one of the best bikes in the business. But not only do we have awesome road bikes, we offer two great e-bikes on many of our trips, including two on both of these ones tonight, to our feature trips. They are electric assist bikes, which means they give you a little bit of boost or a lot of boost, depending on how much your setting is, while you're actually peding. So they require you to pedal. There's no throttle. I mean, this is a Trek travel trip, so you have to pedal. The first one, if you look in this photo right here, this is the Verve Plus. It's an e-bike with a more upright fit, like a hybrid bike, low step through, so it's easy to get on, off and on, without having to kind of throw your leg over. This is a no-cost option for the trips where it's offered. Our second e-bike is the new Domani Plus SLR7. This is an electric assist road bike, which means it's like a normal road bike with a 2x12 drivetrain. You'll see it in the next slide that we have, but it looks just like a regular road bike. I personally own one of these and absolutely love it. It makes climbing so much easier. I'm a big guy, and so having the ability to help me climb is really awesome. Or on windy days, when I was down in Texas doing ride camps, we had some windy days. Having an e-bike would have been amazing. We don't have e-bikes and ride camps, but if we had it, I would have loved it. There is an upgrade fee for the Domani Plus SLR7 when it's offered on a trip. If you like the idea of checking out a road or an e-bike, definitely pop into your local Trek dealership. If you haven't ridden one before, it's great to kind of test it out and see what it's like. The Verve Plus is a little bit heavier than probably your normal road bike, and so you kind of want to feel like it is, feel how the pedal assist kicks in at various levels. So definitely worth checking out if something you're considering. And if you're looking at a trip, we'll talk about in a little bit, the Domani Plus SLR7 is a great way to kind of step up your game. So if you're pushing yourself on a particular trip, it's a way to kind of help you get by maybe some of the more challenging rides. So Open up your chat boxes. We'll have your first trivia question coming up here, but this is a picture of the Domani Plus SLR7. This is the color scheme I got. The Trek looks super cool in it. As you can see, you can barely tell that this is an e-bike. It uses a TQ motor. It's a very small. The bike weighs just right around 27 pounds, so just a little more than your average road bike. So the question is, speaking of e-bikes, how many charge cycles, and that's the number of times the battery is fully charged, is the life cycle of the battery of an e-bike? A, 500 to 700, B, 800 to 1,000, C, 1,500 to 2,000, or D, none of the above. So just for those of you, if you're in the store, just feel free to, yell it out to Sean, and we'll give you credit later when we go through the Q&A. But if you're joining us virtually, just throw the answer into the chat box.
They're saying D.
D, none of the above. Oh, okay. It looks like everyone thinks D is the answer. Well, we got a C coming in. Say final answers here. Actually, the correct answer is B, 800 to 1,000 full cycles. So now, one of the other questions that we get all the time is about rider levels on these trips. We classify our trips by 4 rider levels: leisure, which is 1, recreational 2, avid 3, and avid 4. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these slides, as you can find this information out on our website. But needless to say, as you go up, you get to be, I'll show you the first one. I mean, if you look at level 1, you're looking at your average miles, which are 1,535 miles, up to 750 feet of climbing, and maybe an hour or 2 of riding. Puglia, which is one of our trips in the boot of Italy, is a level 2 trip, but with an e-bike, you can actually make it a level 1 trip, which is kind of what I mentioned before by using an e-bike. So essentially, as you go up with the rider levels, you get a few more miles every day. Provence is a great level 2 trip. So you're seeing like 30 to 50 miles, 2,000 feet of climbing, 2 to 3 hours in the saddle. Active level 3, again, more miles, more climbing, more time in the saddle. This is a great picture of Byron Bay, which is a nice level 3 trip. And then avid is our level 4. Obviously, this is kind of the most miles. And so these are like classic climbs of Slovenia, the Italian Alps, our ride camps, most of our pro race tour trips, our cross country trip. These are avid trips where you're getting the most miles and the most climbing, the most time in the saddle. And this also comes down to bike handling skills too. So obviously when you're climbing, you're going to be descending. So you want to be really comfortable with the ability to kind of obviously take sharp turns, brake. This much time in the saddle, you want to be able to eat and drink comfortably while you're sitting in the saddle riding along. So, when you're looking at an avid trip, that's something where you definitely plan to put a lot of miles on your bike, spend a lot of time in the saddle, and be really comfortable with both ascending and descending. So let's talk about what's included in a Trek travel trip. Hotel, the guides, daily breakfast, most lunches, most dinners, daily snacks and drinks, gratuities for any local staff. So when you're going to dinner or doing any kind of event, you don't have to worry about any kind of gratuity. That's all covered. Any kind of luggage transfers, if you're going on a trip where you're going from one place to another. Some of our trips are you just stay in one spot, which is super awesome. You don't have to go anywhere. But other trips, you get to adventure out. And so obviously all the luggage transfers are covered. Transportation, obviously, during that trip as well. The world-class bikes that we just talked about, which are equipped with the Garmin GPSs. We also provide a helmet, flat pack. We have a support van with 1 to 3 daily routes, depending on the day. And depending on the trip, some Trek travel gear to keep. Now, what's not included is a much shorter list. We don't include airfare or transportation to and from the trip where you start. There's always a starting point. Lodging before or after the trip. And we always recommend that you get out to our locations a day or 2 early. Obviously, they're in great locations, but also these days with so many travel hiccups, you want to make sure you're getting out there and getting there and there at the beginning of the trip. Any personal items like souvenirs also aren't included. Optional activities are not scheduled by Trek Travel. Our trips are usually pretty full, but we definitely try to leave some time for you to go out and explore on your own. So any kind of optional activities won't be included. Some meals, while we have a lot of meals that are planned with really great local cuisine and people we know, we also want you to get out and try to explore yourself and try something that that you're really interested in. And then of course, gratuity for the Trek Travel guides. And as a guide, I can say thank you very much. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's open up those chat boxes for our second trivia question. It's a beautiful picture, isn't it? What is the typical duration of a standard trip? So keep this in mind, this is our standard trip. We have lots of varieties of trips, but like our most common kind of duration for our standard trip. So the options are A, 5 days, B, 6 days, C, 3 days, or D, 7 days. So feel free to throw your answers in there. Sean, what are the folks thinking in the shop?
I got one saying A and one saying B.
Okay, A and B. Looks like we got a lot of A's and B's coming in here. And the correct answer, we'll say final answers. The correct answer is B, 6 days. Most of our trips are 6 days and 5 nights. So kind of, A and B kind of was right there, but that's our most common kind of style of trip is 6 days and 5 nights. Now we are on to our third and definitely the most important component of tonight's event, where we're going to dive into our featured trips, Switzerland and Portugal. So for that, I'm going to hand it off to Hershey. Hershey, take it away.
Curtis, thank you so much for the introduction tonight. As always, it's great to be here with you and just getting to share everything that we do, both out on the field, here virtually, and everything else. But tonight we have two amazing trips that we're going to spotlight. The first one takes us to the place where I would say it's all about scenery, postcards, chocolate, and immaculate roads, coffee done right. It's the good life. And I would like to welcome you to our first trip of the evening. This is our Switzerland bike tour. It's a postcard no matter where you look. The views are breathtaking. The lakes that we go by are calling your name to jump in and swim. And around every corner, it's an awe-inspiring vista. I mean, just take a look at this photo right here from the trip, and you could see like, man, that looks amazing. You can hang out, you can feel the spirit of music in the Montreux Music Festival, where the likes of Freddie Mercury, David Bowie once spent time, or that song Smoke on the Water. Maybe that should be a trivia question, Curtis. Who performed Smoke on the Water? But that's where it took place. So Switzerland is incredible. And this trip, well, the riding here on our Switzerland trip, it's definitely hilly. There are a few punchy climbs, but it's mostly rolling hills. We bike on a dedicated bike path and bike routes. We focus, as always, on prioritizing low traffic roads, if you will, and the riding doesn't require any special skills. Some of the climbs might get your heart rate up and pumping, but Switzerland is geared to those level 2 and 3 riders like Curtis had mentioned earlier. So if you're looking for a great ride that can be as challenging or as easy as you want, the roads that are silky smooth and almost like glass and postcard-like pictures for days, our Swiss Alps trip is definitely for you. Our warm-up ride is going to give you a sneak peek at the incredible adventures that are going to await you. You'll start out riding out of Lucerne. You'll ride along the lake. You're going to pass this lavish 19th century villa, such as the house of Richard Wagner. And then you're going to pedal over the rolling hills to the boat station, to the Witznau boat station, where you're going to board a boat, which will take you back to our hotel. So day one, here's what I want you to think about. Picnic lunch, bike fit, incredible ride, and then you finish the ride by cruising on a boat on the lake back to the hotel. Like truly, it's an awesome first day. Later in the week, you're going to visit the enchanting Lauterbrunnen Valley. It's going to call your name. So brace yourself for an ascent that will reward you with awe-inspiring panoramas upon arriving into the town of Lauterbrunnen. Here, the true purpose of your journey will become evident. Majestic mountains, lush meadows, cascading waterfalls, as you've seen here, and all of this will greet you at the end, accompanied by beautiful and incredible Swiss chalets. And one of my favorite parts, awesome cafes. In fact, I need to say, like, the first time I had coffee in Switzerland, I was at this little cafe and they came out, and instead of just like bringing me a cup of coffee, they were wearing white gloves. It was in stainless steel, and they came out and like poured the perfect cup with incredible sugar and cream. And it was just like this whole procedure, and you just felt like, wow, this is special. This is Switzerland. Now, um, another day you're going to learn about the Swiss wines in the UNESCO World Heritage Region of Louvain. Here you're going to pedal about 40 miles. You're going to have another incredible picnic, and you're going to picnic like a true European, where you're going to toast, grab a glass of wine or two, and you're going to toast one incredible day. One of our hotels, it's situated amidst the stunning natural beauty. This hotel offers breathtaking views of Lake Thun and the surrounding mountains. The hotel encompasses both, I would say, comfortable rooms, as you can see here, very welcoming, open atmosphere. Unlike other European rooms, the rooms are a little bit more spacious. The service is Swiss service. It is incredible and it is timely. And if you're looking for a tranquil retreat from daily life, well, then you have come to the right place. And just take a look at the views from the room. It's pretty sweet. Now, I have to talk about this because a trip to Switzerland would not be complete without a ride on the iconic Swiss trains. On day 4 in the morning, we're going to bid farewell to our hotel and we're going to hop on a train to Saint-Moser. Here, after a scenic journey of approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes, and in that hour and 15, there's a food cart. You can just hang out, you can have a coffee, you can read a book, you can do work if you need to, or you can just sit and watch the Swiss countryside go by. After an hour and 15, you're going to get off the train. You're going to say hello to your co-guides, Curtis and Hershey. Hopefully we'll be there. And then we begin our cycling adventure toward Gruyere. And if you're like, Hershey, why does that sound familiar? Well, it's because the town is named after the world famous cheese, Gruyere. It's delicious. Once entering here, so Switzerland is broken up into different cantons, and cantons are regions, and there's a German-speaking canton, a French-speaking canton, an Italian-speaking canton, a Romanese-speaking canton, and they all typically speak different languages, but they all speak the same too. So we will enter the French-speaking canton of Switzerland. We conclude our biking here in Gruyere, and you'll have ample time to explore the town's captivating charms, which the village is incredible. You can do a self-guided visit of the cheese museum, and that cheese museum is called Les Maisons du Gruyere, the House of Gruyere cheese. So definitely, I recommend that you do that. My wife was hearing me prepare for tonight's talk, and she was like, I love Gruyere and I love Europe. So honestly, if you guys love that, then definitely take a visit through La Maison du Gruyere. And it's a pretty nice way to check out and get in the culture of the town. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can hang out at the hotel, sit at a cafe, and watch the world go by. On the last day of our trip, we will enjoy an early morning and an easy spin along the shores of Lake Geneva. You'll pass Chateau de Chillon. It's a magnificent 13th century fortress on the way to the Grand Gates Reserve. It's a captivating natural sanctuary and haven for a wide range of plant and animal species. After some breakfast and a shower, we'll board the train. You're bid farewell to the magical country of Switzerland, and you will definitely have memories that last for a lifetime. So with that, we will say bonjour or auf Wiedersehen to Switzerland and its magnificent postcard-like views, epic chocolate, great cheese, fantastic food, pristine roads, and we will say hello to our next trip tonight. And this is Portugal. I'd like to welcome you to the Alentejo region. Our Trek Travel Portugal Bike Tour, it's definitely like stepping into the past, a time before cities, a time forgotten, if you will. Rolling countrysides are filled with wheat fields, olive tree vineyards, and of course, cork groves. The hustle and bustle of everyday life will slowly fade away, and time feels like it stands still, just like that Rush song. Our Portugal trip is part of our signature series collection. This means we not only share with you the best cycling in the region, we will share the best food and culture that Portugal has to offer. So if you're into history, if you're into food, and you're in spending some time getting to know locals, then this bike trip is definitely for you. Let's start with the riding like we did in Switzerland. Well, the riding in Portugal is also superb. The traffic is very cyclist friendly. Really, it's just magical to ride your bike here. We average about 26 miles per day, 1,300 feet of climbing. So this trip is rated as a level 2 type trip. It's just a little bit easier than the Switzerland trip if you're debating on either or. But like all of our trips, we offer 3 options per day. There is a short option. There is the today's ride, which is the average of about 26 miles per day. And then the avid option, which tacks on to that. You can choose each day what you want to ride. And let me just say this, it's your day. You decide, you go at your pace. Now, on day 4, you're going to head south and you're going to ride what is arguably the most picturesque ride of the week. Imagine the wind in your hair, the sun shining on your back, or maybe the wind at your back and the sun shining on your hair. And you feel the wheels spinning along pristine pavement. The picturesque small towns will slowly pass by on today's ride. You'll have views of olive groves, rolling rivers will treat us as we follow the Spanish border. Our ride will end with a climb to the picture-perfect village of Montserrat. And by the way, this is a view of the ride, so it's pretty stunning. Our signature series tours take you to amazing cultural and historical locations. Portugal does not disappoint. One of the stops we do on our tour is to the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Évora. Here you'll take a walking tour with a local guide to an ancient Roman temple dating back to the 1st century. This ancient site is often referred to, and it's right here in front of us on this slide. This is the Temple of Diana. So if you've ever wondered what it looks like to see this in person, this picture doesn't do it justice, but it's incredible. And just to learn the history behind that and to be standing right there, it's an awesome experience. Now, one of the most unforgettable things in this area also is our visit to the Bone Chapel. So the walls are lined with the bones of the long deceased. They were exhumed from the city's graves as the graves needed to be expanded for more people to allow for more burials. The bones have been placed here in a very respectful and artistic arrangement, and it is an incredible sight. Now, on the 2nd day of the trip, you'll peer out over Alentejo's plains of twisted cork trees, fields of wheat, and olive trees as we ride to a rural estate whose land has been dedicated to the art of cork oak forestry. And this has been happening for 5 generations now. You get to turn your bike in once you get there, place the bike down, and then you get to jump in this Jeep right here, and Joanna, and you'll cruise with our local guide, Joanna, and you're going to cruise the surrounding hills in a Jeep, learning about the science and art of cork extraction. It's truly a fascinating renewable resource that historically has been a huge part of the economy in this region. They actually cut the trees open to get the cork material out of the insides. And you are going to learn about how to do this. And if you're lucky, they might even let you try some yourself. By the way, and this could be another quiz question, but did you know, and this is actually true, Portugal produces more than 50% of the world's cork supply. So this little tiny country produces more than 50% of the world's cork supply. Simply incredible. Now, if you're like me and you enjoy the idea of only packing once on a trip, I'm happy to share with you that not only is Portugal part of our select series trips, but it's also part of our One collection series. So what's that mean? We will be based out of one hotel, so you can unpack. You don't have to worry about packing up. You can have suitcase explosion, and you are here for the entire trip. We will be based at the Alentejo Marmores Hotel for the entire trip. They are a member of the small luxury hotels of the world, and here think tranquility infused together with luxury, and everything on the inside of our hotel is a stunning pink marble that is not only native to the region, but the hotel itself has its own marble quarry that has produced the marble for the hotel. I mean, it's amazing. It almost feels like possibly a James Bond type movie hotel. The hotel also features a world-class spa, outdoor swimming pool, which is fantastic for a day of relaxation after riding, and it's set in the village of Villa Vicosa. So that's our hotel, the Alentejo Marmores Hotel. Now, the wine in Portugal is fantastic. You often hear about the wine in Italy and the wine in France, and of course, the wine in Spain. However, the wine in Portugal is incredible. Most of the wine, one of the reasons you haven't heard of it is because they really don't export any of their wine. So you're going to get experience wine on this trip that you can't get anywhere else. And I do have to say, if you are thinking about that, well, then you may want to come with a little extra space and some nice clothes so you can pack some fantastic bottles of wine in safely and securely into your luggage to take home with you. So that way you can share it with your friends or loved ones, or just have it all to yourself. The choice is up to you. Now, in the town of Estremoz, we'll sample some of Alentejo's cuisine at the celebrated restaurant Casa do Godinha. It's well known for their chef, Michelle. She has created a cozy space which allows her to create these delicious plates that have a traditional base with a little bit of a contemporary twist, as you can see here in front of you. The flavors are local, they are fresh, they are savory, they're well prepared, they're delicious. They make your taste buds sing. And not only that, but they pair them with some of Estremoz wine from that region. So you have not just incredible food, but you have local incredible wine, and those two together make a unique flavor on your palate. On our last evening of this trip, you're going to journey to the former palace built by King João V for his beloved Dona Maria. You're going to admire the lavish gardens. You're going to see these rooms adorned with 18th century tiles as you make your way to the palace's dining room. And you are looking at the building here in the slide. You are looking at the palace. Here, you're going to experience our gracious host, Isabel. She is going to share her passions and knowledge of Portuguese history while you sample some of the finest wines in the region. So not just are you going to learn about history and have a little tour, you are also going to taste incredible wines. You're going to be transported to an era as you explore this stunning quinta. It's a testament to Portugal's rich cultural heritage. Then you'll indulge in a carefully prepared and perfectly paired meal accompanied by the estate's popular distinct wine. So everything I just said, you're going to do a tour, you're going to taste amazing wine, and after that, you're going to have a wine paired dinner to finish off your trip in Portugal. But you may not want to take my words on why this trip is so amazing, but I'm going to share with you now a video narrated by Nick, so you can see all about why Portugal is incredible. So I hope you enjoyed the short little video on Portugal.
Portugal is becoming more and more popular. It's one of those sort of undiscovered parts of Europe that is really magical, especially in this Alentejo region. It's a really unique place. The border is right there, and there's a lot of history and culture between Portugal and Spain. The landscape is incredible. You'll see like a lot of rolling hills. It's a mixture of cork trees, fruit trees, lots of olive trees as well. Just beautiful. Amongst that landscape, we see all these animals as well. You'll see cows and goats and black pigs. There's a whole stack of wildlife. The sorts of riders that will come on this trip are more recreational. It's more about sitting back on your bike, soaking up the atmosphere, enjoying some great food, some really good wine. Around Villa Viçosa, it's a huge marble region. The hotel where we stay is like amazing pink marble, which is absolutely marvellous. We make our way down to the Castello de Terrena, check out what life might have been like 200, 300 years ago. We head to the UNESCO town of Évora. We have an amazing walking tour. We get to see Roman ruins and the beautiful Roman Temple of Diana. We go to this bone church, and you can see on their faces, they're sort of like, whoa, that's a wall made out of someone's head. And it's incredible to see. So much history. After having done the Portugal trip, the guests, they get a real sense of this part of the world. You fall in love with the people and you fall in love with their warmness, and you just want to come back again.
So I do hope you really enjoy that video narrated by Nick, and just getting the feeling on Portugal and all that is. So for me, it's hard to decide. If I had to say, you need to pick one trip over the other. But if you want to feel like seeing the sound of music, alpine hills, Swiss chocolate, Swiss coffee, Gruyere cheese, incredible wine, and pristine roads, or if you're looking to get away to where life is much quieter, checking out a rich and less populated area, then Portugal and the Alentejo is probably calling your name. So with that, Curtis, I am going to hand it back to you and see where you and Luis are going to go next.
Thanks, Hirsch. Well, I was thinking, why do one or the other? Just do both, right? I mean, as long as you're all the way over in Europe, just extend your vacation and do both of them, right? Get a little,
Yeah,
start with a level 2 trip, move up to a level 3 trip, right?
right.
That's
Maybe go to Portugal first and then
yeah.
make your way to Switzerland for a little bit more challenging riding after.
And all
Why
that
not?
chocolate, you're going to gorge yourself on all that chocolate, so it'll slow you down a little bit.
Totally. And you know me and chocolate. I have an issue.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, well, I know we've got you all excited about a cycling vacation of a lifetime. And like I said, that video is just amazing. That riding looks incredible, doesn't it? So you probably want to know, hey, what's next? Well, watch out for an email from our team with lots of great info to recap tonight's presentation, including a link to the video. You can visit our website to get more information about these trips or any others, including dates and times, our dates and prices, trip logistics, so you know where to fly into, what to bring, just all the stuff. There's just so much useful information. And then you can also play around with our trip finder tool to look for other trips. You can search by region, date, rider level, and just so many other ways. I mean, Hershey mentioned like kind of the one trip, the signature series. Trek Travel just makes it super easy to kind of look for your kind of trip in your region during your time of the year. So it's just really a phenomenal way, and you just kind of keep searching around, and I think you'll just keep finding more and more trips you want to go on. And while you're there, you can also find more information on our industry-leading cancellation policy and our travel insurance provider. As anyone who's traveled these days knows, there's just seems to be so many hiccups. It's always good to have some travel insurance. Then, once you've decided on a trip, you can give us a call to book your trip Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Or if you're one of those people who likes to shop late at night, or maybe just prefers not to talk to someone live, I think some people prefer that. I generally more like the younger generation. You can also book any of these trips from online from the comfort of your own couch. And then once you've booked a trip, you got to get ready for it. I mean, this isn't kind of your normal lazy hang out at the beach kind of trip. Nothing, there's anything wrong with those. I think they're great, but this is the kind of trip that I think you'll get more out of it the more you get ready for it. And part of getting ready for it is going to your local Trek dealer, in this case, Trek Bicycle Vegas West. So you can go check out the gear, get fitted for the bikes. So, if you don't have a Damani SL7 or a Verve or a Damani Plus SLR, hop on it, get fitted. We'll get your measurements so that when you start the trip, bike's close to being dialed in. Obviously, we'll tweak it for you, throughout your trip, but you kind of get some measurements, or if you haven't ridden an e-bike before, you can check it out. Get some gear, whether you need some more rain gear or some sun sleeves or just more gear, because as a cyclist, you can never have enough gear. And then also kind of hear about any local group rides. Most bike shops will have some kind of group riding, make new friends, get a little training in. And then again, because the more that you get ready for your trip, I think the more you're going to enjoy it. So I hope you've enjoyed learning about Trek Travel, the bikes that we offer, and some of the trips that you can take those bikes on. But if you want to hear more about other trips, you can go to our website, trektravel.com/events, or just the events in the About Us link on the main page, where you're going to find out about other upcoming events just like this one. To give you a little preview, next week we're going to talk about Norway and Slovenia. The week after that, March 6th, that's Amsterdam to Bruges and the Provence Bike Tour, which is one of our most popular bike tours. And then March 13th is Tuscany countryside and Tuscany wine country. And there's more, and they'll keep putting them up, but those are the ones that are coming up. But before you go this evening and start thinking about another event, we want to finish our journey here. So, this is our last leg. Hopefully we stir up some additional questions. I'm going to stop the share here. For those of you joining us virtually, if you want to turn on your mic and camera, you can ask some questions. For those in the store, kind of turn on your mic, and if you have any questions, feel free to kind of shout them out. Hirsch, did you see? I didn't really see any questions in our chat box as we were kind of going through the presentation. So I don't know if there's any questions. I know you do an amazing job of painting a picture. But Sean, do you have any questions from the shop?
I have a question. If
Yeah.
you went on one of the trips and wanted to stay at that hotel longer, is that an option?
Hirsch?
Yeah, so that's an awesome question, and one that we get often. Sometimes guests will check into the hotel ahead of time, sometimes they'll stay later.
Yep.
So all you need to do is when you book, if you call in and talk to one of our trip consultants like Curtis had talked about, they're available, I believe it's, what was it, 9 to 5?
8 to 6.
9 to 6. Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, 9 to 6. Just call in and they can help you arrange that. They can help arrange it for you. So all you need to do is call in, but there are a lot of guests who do that.
Yep, for sure. Good question. Anything else from anybody? One thing people often ask, Hirsch, is kind of, what should we bring on the trip? Are there any kind of pro tips as far as, our gear, our saddles and our pedals and whatnot? So you want to say a little something about that?
Definitely. I would say that you're there in the bike shop now. If you're thinking about a new rain jacket or windbreaker, if you wanted to have sunny days on your trip, buy a rain jacket at the store and then bring it with you. It's the best thing to repel rain. Also, having 1 or 2 or 3 kits with you is always good. But layering for all of our trips is highly recommended. So those are some things to bring with you. Then also making sure that if you have Shimano pedals or you ride flat or pedals with cages, we offer those and we can put those on, whether Shimano road or Shimano mountain bike pedals.
Yep.
However, if you have a particular saddle that you ride, if you ride Look, Speed Play, or any other type of pedal that's not Shimano, that you bring those with you because we don't have them. And then depending on, we have great helmets. People love the wave cell helmets, but if there's a helmet you like to ride on or ride with that fits you well, it's always a good idea to bring that with you. Anything else, Curtis, that you can think about that I may have missed?
Did you mention the saddle? Yeah, bring your own saddle too. I mean, we're happy to take that off and on just like the pedals. We'll kind of bring them to the guides a little ahead of time, on your first day, and they'll throw them on and then take them back off. But the saddles are really comfortable. I mean, I think that the SL7 comes with the Verse, which I think is a really nice saddle. I like it a lot. But if it's not what you normally ride, your bottom's not going to be used to it. So definitely bring your own saddle.
I have a
Jim,
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On these rides that seem from both trips to be approximately 3 hours a day, what if we see something we want to stop and take a photograph or even linger our tour or something that we're passing by? Is that something that can be done, or is it pre-programmed? We're just going to keep riding and we're going to have to come back on our own later to check something out after the group ride?
Hirsch, you know the motto, right?
Yep. It's your day, you decide.
Yep.
So,
All right.
Curtis and I have both done something similar, and sometimes we'll even be riding with people and go, hey, come on over here. Let me show you this cool waterfall. Or look, there's an awesome cafe in this town. We're going to stop and get a coffee as we go on our way. So it's definitely your day, you decide.
I mean, this is not your group ride at home where you're just hammering the miles and you're just putting your head down and trying to, like get through those 20, 30 miles as fast as you can. You take in the scenery, stop, take lots of pictures. We'll be out there taking pictures with you too, actually. So you don't, like we like to do that so people don't have to worry about their own pictures, but definitely stop and take some of your own as well. But yeah, you want to enjoy the scenery. Like you saw those pictures and Hershey painted this amazing picture. You are in this breathtaking area, take it in, there's no, you don't need to get any Strava segments when you're in these amazing areas. Take it in, go slow, and really enjoy it.
Yeah, you are on vacation. So,
yeah.
All right, great. That's the answer I wanted to hear. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I mean, and pace wise, I mean, that's a good question talking about pace. Like, you're not riding together. Like people will you'll start out and, generally some people together, but people break up. Some people are faster, some people are slower, some people stop more. We have rest stops. Some people linger at them longer than others. And so really, like Hirsch said, your day, your way, we want you to enjoy it. And while you're riding, if there's, something comes up and maybe you're just a little tired or there's a hill coming up and you see the van, put your arm out and they know to stop, and they'll stop at the next safe place and they'll give you a bump to, the next spot. Or if you're at lunch, there was one of the trips I've done, there was kind of a segment that's a little harder. So some people kind of bump from basically the snack stop to the lunch stop and then, hop in the van and then start back off. So we really want to make sure you're enjoying the trip the way you want to enjoy it. Any other questions from anybody? I know Hirsch does an amazing job talking about these places, so you really kind of get a sense of what they're like. Well, cool. Well, that's it for us. Unless Hirsch, you have anything else you want to add?
No, not really. Curtis.
Sean, anything from you?
I would just say, yeah, we definitely have all of those bikes in store.
Yep.
Like if you wanted to try one of them beforehand and select which one's good for you, like you can definitely come and ride it and get sorted.
And I'm assuming you'd recommend everyone should check out the Damani Plus SLR7, right?
I mean, that TQ motor is for real. Like super
it's awesome.
Smooth. Yeah, it's for real.
It just makes you feel like a pro. I mean, I just hop on that bike. It doesn't feel like an e-bike so much. It just kind of makes you feel like you're stronger, and suddenly you're cooking at, the top speed on things 28 miles an hour. So you're just cooking. But it's not, but if you want to work harder, you just can turn it off. I've done that before too, where if you're on the flats or something like that, it's not windy, it's not a hill, you can turn it off. And honestly, I personally don't notice much of it feels like a slightly heavier bike, but you don't really notice much of like a weight penalty. Cool. Great. Well, thanks everybody. Sean, thank you for joining us, and the folks you have in the store there. Thank you everybody virtually for joining us this evening. I hope to see you at another Trek travel event, or even better, hope to see you on one of these trips. So have a great evening. See you later. Thanks
a lot for the presentation.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.